So what does Kamala Harris stand for? I could make this video really short because the answer for me is I don't know. I really don't know. I've been trying to figure it out because it's very important. People are saying that she's going to be the big front runner, you know, all the mainstream media. And I know we're about 2 years away still, but a lot of the mainstream media is saying that Kamala Harris is pretty much going to be the front runner, that she's the favorite, that Barack Obama might even be endorsing her. So a big question is, what does she stand for? Let's take a look at the video she released from her campaign.
Truth, justice, decency, equality, freedom, democracy. These aren't just words. They're the values we as Americans cherish, and they're all on the line now. The future of our country depends on you and millions of others lifting our voices to fight for our American values. That's why I'm running for President of the United States. I'm running to lift those voices, to bring our voices together. So please join me in Oakland on Sunday, January 27th, and go to kamalaharris.org to join our campaign. Let's do this together. Let's claim our future for ourselves, for our children, and for our country. I'll see you in Oakland.
Okay, so I got nothing from that. I got that she's basically not Trump. That's pretty much what I got from that. That everything Trump is, she isn't. That she's going to be the opposite of Trump, and that's what she's going to bring back to the White House, and that's why we should vote her in for president, because she's different than Trump. She's the opposite of him. She's for truth, justice, decency, freedom, values, equality, democracy, lifting voices. So, not Trump. Okay, so I did some more digging around wanting to find out, what does Kamala Harris stand for? I mean, if she's going to be the big front runner that they're all talking about, then what does she stand for? So Washington Post came out with her platform, and they said that she is proposing nearly $3 trillion in tax plan, billions in tax credits to low-income renters, Medicare for all healthcare system, and a reduction in cash bail for inmates charged with criminal offenses. So she's got a few things on her platform. I know she's also for climate change, and there's a few others that she's talked about in various interviews. So it'll be interesting to see what's actually on her platform when she actually puts it out there. But even then, the stuff that I'm seeing right now are just little things here and there to kind of throw at us to say, well, these are the things that I'm for. But at the end of the day, what is her vision? What is she really about? When a person decides to run for president, what does make them a good candidate versus, I guess, a bad candidate? Because I can tell you what I think. I think that it's somebody who inspires us. I want to feel inspired by that candidate. I want to feel like they have a real vision for where our future is, and they're going to march us towards it. And they're the leader who is going to do it. That there is a vision in their mind for America, and it's inspiring, and it just resonates with my core, and it moves me, and I fall in love with it, and I want to support this candidate and carry them through to the finish line so that they can carry us through to this wonderful, amazing, euphoric future. That's a leader, a really good leader. That's what leaders do. So when we're talking about these presidential candidates, that's what they've got to do if they really want to have a chance to win. And we've seen this time and time again, really beginning, at least in my lifetime, with Barack Obama. There, of course, have been others in the history of time, I'm sure, that have been extremely inspiring for the people when they listen to them. But, there was Bush, Reagan when I was a baby, but I don't remember him ever speaking because I was too young. But in my lifetime, there was Bush, there was Clinton, and there was Bush again. And then Obama came along, and he had this vision, and he was so inspiring, and he spoke of hope and change. And he just seemed to have this he just seemed like a leader who could march us towards this vision that he had. And it was wonderful and beautiful, and we all got behind it. And that was really what got Barack Obama elected. I mean, he was the underdog. No one really expected him to win. They weren't really sure if America was ready for a black president. They weren't sure if America could handle this young junior senator from Chicago, from Illinois. They just kind of said, the odds are, the odds are stacked against this guy. And, but the thing is that he had this message. He was so inspiring. He had this vision for America, and we wanted him to take us there. And then the 2016 election came along, and that is what Trump did for his base. He did that exact thing. He said, I'm going to make America great again. And he started painting this picture of what he thought America should be like. And many of us don't agree with it, but it still resonated to the core with so many others. They felt like, yes, this is the guy. He is going to lead us there. He's going to drain the swamp, and he's going to make America great again, and he's going to give us our jobs back, and he's going to restore the middle class, and he's going to do all of these things. And whether he's done it or not, they still bought in hook, line, and sinker to that man's vision, and they believed that he could march them towards it. And many of us believe the same thing with Bernie Sanders. He gave this message, the way he spoke, the inspiration that he was able to instill in us. It was so strong that everybody said, yes, I want that. Take me there. And that is what I'm not getting from Kamala Harris. I'm not really getting that at all. I don't really know what she stands for. And that is really the big challenge here. I just don't know what her... Now, I've looked. So let's look at another video. This was from when she was on The View. She did a segment there. Where is it? I got to find it here on my computer. It's a mess. You should see my desktop. You guys would freak out if you're an OCD person. You'd be like, oh my gosh. Sometimes people see my desktop and they're like, clean that up. It's like cleaning my room. Good luck. Okay, so she was on The View. She was talking about the future of the Democratic Party, I think, or where we're at and where we should be. I'm not really sure what she was talking about. See if you can figure it out, but this is what she had to say.
We are at an inflection point. If you think about it, there are emerging and descending economies. Populations are shifting for a variety of reasons, including climate change, which we should be talking more about. Technology, automation, we're going through an industrial revolution. There is so much happening right now in the world. And my concern is that in this inflection moment, let's not lose sight of what should be our vision about how we can address and deal with, one, the sources of issues that are making people feel displaced and feeling left out. Right. Yeah. But also address what we need to do to actually take charge in this growing and changing world. And there's no time for us to spend full time staring at our belly button when the world might be passing us by. And that's why I say that the rhetoric that causes division among us is not productive, and it is not reflective of who we really are as a people.
And
Okay, that told me nothing. That told me nothing about what her vision is for this. I mean, she's saying, we've got to figure out our place in this growing, changing world and not look at our belly button, and that we can't just let the world pass us by. Okay, fine. But what is the vision? What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? What's your plan? What's your vision for America? Because right now what I'm hearing is she's saying, we've got to get down to the root of the problem for the people who feel displaced and left out. I don't know who she's talking about specifically there, but and that's a whole different video for another day, really kind of getting into the whole identity politics thing, or pointing at certain groups and saying, I hear you, I see you, I know you don't feel heard or seen, and I just don't know who that group is that feels that way and really truly feels that way. I mean, I do know that we need to make some progress and some change, and that there's still inequality in the playing field for sure, but I really do. I believe that it is not so much racism in our country that is causing problems, but that it's economic inequality. And I really hold firm to that. I really believe that that is the root of the problem, that when you level out the money, and I've seen it with my own very eyes, but again, that should be a different video for a different day, right? So I'll get into that another time, just sharing with you the story of my own family, the refugees who have asylum here in the United States from Vietnam, and watching the community and how it changed from being violent and poor to being prosperous and having a lot of money. But that's a different story. So she talks about all this stuff, and I don't know. It leaves me with nothing. I have no idea what her platform is. I have no idea what her vision is. I know that she's got some talking points. I know that she was a prosecutor, so I know that there were some moments when she was in the Senate and she grilled some of those judges that were up for the Supreme Court and other jobs, and people really liked the way she grilled them. I never felt inspired by those grillings. I felt inspired by Elizabeth Warren when she held the CEO of Wells Fargo's feet to the fire. That was shocking for all of us, right? I don't remember where I was when the TV was on and that was happening. But I do remember, for me personally, it wasn't like, wow, did you see that? And check this out later. I mean, I saw it live and in real time. It was on TV. And I was with no one who was political. And I just remember turning around and seeing this and stopping and being like, whoa, who is she talking to? And this is awesome. That's the feeling you've got to get. It can't just be something that's force-fed to you, like, oh, this is the person we really love, so you've got to love them too. And that's what I kind of feel like is going on already with Kamala Harris. It's like, well, the establishment has decided she's going to be the pick, so you've got to love her. And we're going to give you all these reasons. Well, because she's black and she's a female and she's also Asian. She's Indian and black. And she's kind of young. She's 52 or 53. And, and she's all of these things, X, Y, and Z. And so you're going to love her. You're going to have to love her because we said so. Rather than this organic feeling of, oh my gosh, this person makes me stop and look. And that's what Bernie Sanders did. That's what Elizabeth Warren did that day. Now, I don't know if Elizabeth Warren's going to be able to do that again during her campaign, but that is what she did for me that day. And that's what Trump has done for his base, right? He made them stop and look. And they were like, what is this? What's going on? Wait a minute. I like this. And that's what a candidate's got to do. So right now, I'm really confused by Kamala Harris because I don't understand what she's saying. She sounds to me like a politician. And that means that usually they just speak in circles. They don't give straight answers. And, it's just more of the same. And we don't want more of the same. Now, from what I know, her sister was Hillary Clinton's policy. Her sister Maya was Clinton's policy director. So they're saying here on this was 538, they did an article and they said that Harris likely is going to be very liberal when it comes to non-economic issues, but not as liberal when it comes to economic issues. So, yeah. They were saying that she is the embodiment of the Democratic Party today. I think that's accurate, actually, because, well, and I mean the Democratic I shouldn't say the party, the establishment. She is definitely the embodiment of the Democratic establishment and how it's evolved. She's a female. She's a minority. She's, like they said, liberal when it comes to social stuff and not so liberal when it comes to the economic stuff, the stuff that I think at this point in our history matters the most. I think there were there were periods before where we really did need to work for way more equality and civil rights for sure. But I think we're now at a point in our history where the big disparity is economic, and we got to fix that. And another centrist isn't going to help. I mean, look what's going on in France. That's what happens when you get rid of the Trump-like character, which they had Marine Le Pen, and they got rid of that. They said, well, we don't want that. We don't want to do what England did, and we don't want to do what the United States did. So we're going to get this Macron guy because he's better than that Le Pen chick who's kind of like Trump and the Brexit people. And so they get in this centrist, and look what's happening. The place is literally burning down because when people feel poor and they feel trapped, and they feel like you're not really working for them, even though you said you were. And, Macron is technically left. I don't know. I think he's center. So center-right, maybe even. Certainly an incrementalist and centrist and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, back to Kamala. I don't know I'm just not inspired. That's just ultimately the point of this whole thing. I don't know what she stands for. The night is young. She still has 2 years basically to come up with what she stands for. But I feel like if it's not a personal conviction that comes from your core, you could just pretty much forget it. It's not going to happen. You're just going to give lip service. You're the type of candidate who is, just more, you're a career politician type. So anyway, that's my feeling right now on Kamala Harris. I'm going to go deeper at some point into her voting record and where she's getting the money and her personal wealth and all of that kind of stuff, because all of that matters. But right now, I just kind of wanted to give the general overview because, she's running, she's picking up steam. Mainstream media is talking about her as the big front runner, and she's going to get Obama's endorsement, all that stuff. And so I just wanted to know, what does she stand for?